Welcome, everybody, to the weekend edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and today we're going to talk about all the news coming out of the world of football, plus recap the action that has happened so far and preview the action coming up today from week 3 of the UFL. Before we get into it, please make sure to head over to the Huddle Hub Podcast over on social media, over on X, TikTok, Instagram, and Epic Studios at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit that follow button. Over on YouTube, you're going to hit that subscribe button. That's how you follow on YouTube. No, you don't have to pay anything. You hear subscription and you're like, oh, I got to pay something. No money out of pocket for the subscription over on the YouTube channel. You can check out a lot of the good content, especially segments over on the YouTube channel. Yes, we have some special segments that we do during the shows here, and what we do is we clip them and we post them up for you guys to check out. Like me and John doing our NFL March Madness tournament that we are going to be concluding this Tuesday night. And you can also check us out on Twitch. All of our social media bios are in the Twitch bio. You just go click on the one that you desire to go to. Head over to the social media that you desire to go to, because I know not everybody uses every social media, and help us build the Huddle Hub podcast through the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond. That was very long-winded. That never takes me that long to do. Why did it take me that long? I'm kind of curious on why that right there took me that long to do. But yeah, it's a Sunday morning. Yes, normally you're used to seeing me on a Saturday morning, but it is Sunday morning. That's because, like I announced last week, that my personal life has changed. As you guys know from me announcing last week that, the reason why we did the Saturday show was because I was out of work for a while and I was able to do the show on Saturdays. I work on Saturdays, so now we move the Saturday show during the offseason back to Sundays at 11 o'clock. Now, during the regular season, me and Cam will be live at 10:30 Sunday mornings before kickoff as normal. So yeah, we're back to Sunday mornings now, and not a lot of stuff to cover today, as it's been like that for the past 2 or 3 shows now. I know I did the Tuesday show this past Tuesday, and we were only live for like 40 minutes because there was not a lot to cover. And I'll tell you this right now, there's not too much to cover today, but we are here to cover what there is to cover, and there is one thing that I do want to talk about that it's coming up and it's very exciting. That's right. The 2026 NFL draft is coming up. Okay. And I'm very excited for the draft. I love draft time. There's a movie called Draft Day. Okay. And if you guys have never seen this movie, never heard of this movie, Kevin Costner plays in it. Such a great movie. And it's a movie that I watch every year around draft time. Now, this movie is a movie you can watch anytime. I'll say that right now. It is that good to where you can watch this movie anytime. But especially around draft time, like, it gets you excited and ready for the draft. It does. I mean, the team that the movie's based around was kind of like Cleveland was probably the perfect pick for this movie, though. Cleveland was the perfect pick because they had the number 1 overall pick, and the whole movie is them wondering how, who they're going to take at number 1 and everything like that. Just go watch the movie. I promise you, if you have nothing planned today, go watch it. It's an hour and 30 minutes. Watch it tonight. If you don't have any plans tonight, it's Sunday night. I mean, Sunday is normally the day of rest, right? In some people's eyes. I look at Sunday as the day to kind of recharge my batteries and get ready for the next week. Go watch it tonight. It's a great movie. But we have the NFL draft coming up in 2 weeks, okay? A little less than 2 weeks on Thursday, April 23rd. And I am super excited for the NFL draft. Obviously, the Eagles are picking at number 23, but we know all that can change. All of that can change, okay? Everything can end up changing as far as the draft order. And I talked about this the other day, and listening to the NFL radio. The cool thing is I've been able to listen to NFL radio the past couple days since going back to work because, I'm not going to sit here and listen to a radio show, So I was able to get back into listening to the NFL radio station on Sirius XM and just listening to, Moving the Chains do their mock draft and listening to where they think players are going to go and comparing it to my practice mock drafts was very crazy to the fact, like, I was kind of on point with some of the stuff that they did. It's almost like there's a predictability of where players might go come April 23rd. For example, Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders, right? That's everybody's pick. Number 1 to the Raiders. That's that. Kirk Cousins, he only has a $20 million, guarantee. It's only going to be 1 year. Fernando will sit behind him. But when you look at next year's draft class, I believe there's a couple more quarterbacks that are first-round worthy coming out of next year's. That's why I still feel like the Raiders might trade this pick away. And I think it might be Arizona. I feel like Arizona is going to be that team that comes in April 23rd. Before that clock starts. Maybe earlier in the day. And moves in on that first pick. And everybody I talk to about this thinks I'm crazy, but you look at the first couple teams that need quarterbacks, the Raiders, Cardinals, Browns, that's the first, not the Raiders, Cardinals, Browns, sorry, the Raiders, Jets, Cardinals at 1, 2, and 3, and then the Browns at 6. So sorry. I was looking at my practice mock draft, and I had the Browns moving up to 3 in one of them. So, but it's still the thought of the Browns can move up there. It's all about the teams that have the draft capital to be able to trade up to that number 1 spot. And those are the teams that I could see fighting for that number 1 spot because nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is going to fight for that number 1 spot. They don't need to. They don't need to give up their draft capital to move in there and take Mendoza. Now, the real question is Fernando Mendoza the true best player in this draft class? Is he the true number 1? Could you see a team possibly giving up some draft capital, move in there and take Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles? Sorry about that. Fantasy baseball is going off. But can you see teams moving in to go in and take Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, one of those big defensive players that they don't feel like they're going to be able to get when it comes to their pick? Let's take, for example, the Eagles are at 23, right? No, let's pick a different team. Let's go to the Cowboys at 12, okay? So the Cowboys are at 12. When you look at the other teams that are ahead of them, the Raiders, Jets, Cardinals, Titans, Giants, Browns, Commanders, Saints, Chiefs, Bengals, Dolphins, okay? And let's say the Cowboys want Mansour Delane, right? Are there any teams in front of them that you could see taking Mansour Delane before the number 12 spot? There's probably 2 teams. So would Dallas give up draft capital to take him? Yeah, probably. To move up and get him? Yeah. And let's say the 11 teams or the 10 teams ahead of them before the number 1 spot doesn't want to do any deals. And the Raiders are their last shot. Do you think Dallas would give up the draft capital and move number 1 just to take Mansour Delane? Dallas I could see doing it. But other teams, I don't know. But the Bengals at 10. Could you see the Bengals moving up to take a defensive player that they don't feel like might be there at 10? Because when you look at these other teams that are in the top 10, they need defensive players. Just as much as they need a wide receiver or a quarterback or a tight end. And you think there's only one tight end that's probably first round worthy on this list, and that's Kenyon Sadiq. So this is going to be an exciting time. Exciting time. And I still feel like the Raiders might trade out of that number 1. I have this inclement feeling that the Raiders trade out of this number 1 spot. And my pick is the Arizona Cardinals, moving up from 3 to 1. Because it's not a big leap. It's a big enough leap position-wise because obviously going after a quarterback. Because let's say the Raiders decide, you know what? We feel like Kirk Cousins can be the guy here, not only this year, but next year and maybe the year after. So we really need to go after Mendoza. Then that comes up with the Jets, and the Jets need a quarterback. They're not going to run with Geno. And if they do, it'll be for the year. Okay. So the Cardinals are going to want to jump because the Cardinals right now, look at their quarterback situation. It's almost non-existent. That's why I feel like the Cardinals could be the team to do it. The Browns, on the other hand, who do need a quarterback. I mean, there's still that thought of Deshaun Watson becoming the starter, Shedeur Sanders. Dylan Gabriel hasn't shown up in the building yet, as far as I heard. And they've been back in the building for 5 days now. We're almost a week in, and Dylan Gabriel is yet to show his face. That's not a good look on his part. So is Dylan Gabriel going to be a Cleveland Brown? Could they end up trading him? Who knows? A lot can happen coming up on April 23rd, and I'm excited to see what happens. So let's get into the news of things, guys. All right. First off, Ian Thomas, tight end of the Raiders. He had ended up re-signing with the Raiders. Stop. Ian Thomas, the tight end of the Raiders, has decided to re-sign with the Raiders. Offensive tackle Jawan Taylor has signed with the Falcons after the Falcons. And I didn't write this down, but one of their offensive tackle. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah. Caleb McGarry, offensive tackle of the Falcons, decided to retire. And moments later, Jawan Taylor, offensive tackle, signed with the Falcons. So the Falcons covering their bases on their offensive tackle position already. With Caleb McGarry retiring, Jawan Taylor coming in, signing a deal with the Falcons, 1-year deal. So they covered their bases already as far as the offensive line position with the tackle position. So smart move there for the Falcons to cover that position right away, like instantly. It was an instant happening. Like McGarry announced his retirement, and like 10 minutes later, Jawan Taylor came in and signed. So great move by the Falcons by covering their bases there. CJ Stroud, quarterback of the Texans, and defensive end of the Texans, Will Anderson, have both had their 5th-year options picked up by the Houston Texans. So, I mean, this is going to be a big year for both of these players, right? They're going to want to see, obviously, tackle production by Will Anderson, possible sack production by Will Anderson. They're probably going to set a sack standard for him. With him being a defensive end, they're probably looking at him to get at least 6 sacks this season. CJ Stroud, he's probably going to have at least a 25 touchdown pass stack put against him for a re-signing, right? Because they're on the 5th-year option. Now it's all about getting a bigger deal done. And the Texans have yet to put that contract in front of them. So what they're probably waiting for is to see how because CJ Stroud the past 2 seasons, 2 years ago was a bad year. 2025, there was a little bit more production. They're going to be looking for a lot more production from CJ Stroud. Okay, they are. Now, the run game, it's a little questionable out in Houston. It is. So if I was Houston, I would really, I don't believe they went out and got a running back at all. I don't think they did. And I could be wrong on that, but I don't believe they went out and got a running back. I'm looking at their depth chart right now. No, David Montgomery. Okay, yeah, they have David Montgomery. Never mind. David Montgomery and Woody Marks. That's right. They made that trade for David Montgomery. Okay. So they're going to be looking for production from CJ Stroud. And with bringing in David Montgomery, who's obviously one hell of a running back, and his wide receiving room looking good, this team is going to look for production from CJ Stroud. 25 touchdown passes. And then they'll decide next year whether they want to throw the big contract in front of him or not. Now, could they make that decision this year? They could. They can make that decision. But I feel like this is going to be a decision year. I don't think we're going to see them throw a contract in front of CJ Stroud before we kick off 2026. I think 2026 is going to be his proving year to show that production has gotten better. And they brought in a brand new quarterback coach for him. So we'll have to see if that production goes up. Will Anderson, they're probably going to put like a 6 or 7 sack. They're going to be looking for him to get 6 or 7 sacks this year. At least. 10 at least. but his tackle production is going to be there as well. They're going to be looking at probably 20 tackles from him. They're going to be throwing him probably a contract before CJ. I think CJ is going to have to prove himself more than Will Anderson has to. So we'll have to see what happens there. Did I write that wrong? Kemen Hall? Yeah, Kemen Hall signed with the Bucs, defensive back. Bijan Robinson, the Falcons are picking up his fifth-year option. So I don't think Bijan Robinson's going to have to prove anything this year. He's going to get a contract. The Falcons are not going to let that talent go. Bijan Robinson, I think, has already proved himself, even in a crap year, has proven that he is a top-tier running back. And the moves that the Falcons have made this offseason have been pretty good moves. So I don't see Bijan Robinson waiting for a contract very long. I think he's going to get one put in front of him before the 2026 season, maybe. But if not, it's going to be guaranteed right after the 2026 season. They're going to throw a contract in front of him. The question is does he accept it? Because you go back to 2024 and the Saquon Barkley situation. The Giants, they couldn't tag him again. They offered him. He felt he can get more. He goes out. There was talks between Philadelphia and I forget what other team there was. I think Green Bay was the other team. And he went Philadelphia. So, if they run into that situation, that's a situation they don't want to put themselves in. I would try and put him in a position to where he'll accept the contract before, anybody else can offer him. The moment you get a chance to give him that contract, I'd give it to him. If I was the Falcons, you don't want to lose that production. Not at all. Defensive back Jack Jones signs with the 49ers. And I think that's it as far as signings. Now, we had a trade that happened on Friday afternoon. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. The Philadelphia Eagles have gotten wide receiver Dontavian Wicks, and in return, the Packers received a 2026 fifth-round draft pick and a 2027 sixth-round draft pick. And then moments later, the Eagles signed Dontavian Wicks to a one-year, $12.5 million extension. Now, here is the thing about this trade. Is the moment this trade happens, all you hear is the rumors of, okay, the Eagles are definitely trading A.J. Brown. I still don't feel like Philly is trading A.J. Brown after the June 1st. I don't. Now, if you didn't know this, if Philly trades A.J. Brown before June 1st, they have about $43 million in dead cap money that they're going to be losing out on, right? If they wait until after June 1st, then it's only about $11 million. 11 or 13, somewhere around there, right? So they don't want to lose out on all that money. But they just went out and brought in Elijah Moore, who is very, very close to A.J. Brown, very, very close friend. Somebody that I feel A.J. Brown would have wanted the opportunity to play in this league with. He is now going to have the opportunity if he sticks around in Philly. If anything, this is going to be a team decision at this point. And part of me feels like the team is not going to trade him, at least not this year. If anything, I would have to look at his contract. I believe his contract is up next year. If anything, it would be a next year deal. If it's his contract. I didn't look at his contract. I'll have to look at it later. But if anything, it would be a next year deal. But I don't feel like A.J. Brown is going to be out of an Eagles uniform this year. I don't believe he's going to be in any other uniform. I think he is going to be a Philadelphia Eagle. I do. So that wide receiver room right now is stacked. A.J. Brown, Elijah Moore, Devontae Smith, Hollywood Brown, Dontavian Wicks. That is a stacked wide receiver room. Dallas Goedert, Greg Calcaterra at tight end. And if projections go right, Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon. My God. That's monstrous. But I feel like A.J. Brown will be a Philadelphia Eagle in 2026. And that's just me, I guess. Everybody else, the moment this trade happens, oh, here we go. A.J. Brown's going to get traded. Why? Because we brought in a wide receiver that only caught the ball 30 times for 350 yards this year? No, not happening. Tommy, what's up? Thank you for joining me this morning here on the Huddle Up Podcast. Appreciate you stopping in today. Don't have much to cover today. Just a few things to talk about. So, but I don't think A.J. Brown's out of Philadelphia. I think he sticks around. And two more things. Marquise Bell, defensive back of the Cowboys, he was arrested for possession the other day, possession of a controlled substance and marijuana. So it is yet to be known what the consequences are for him as far as him being arrested. Is he going to get fined? Is he going to face jail time? Anything like that? As of right now, we just know that he got arrested for possession. So, yeah. The Dallas Cowboys haven't commented on this yet. The league hasn't commented on this yet. So, well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, not a lot in store today, man. It's been very, very quiet these past couple days. It's been very quiet. The Tuesday show was only 40 minutes long. Man, there was not a lot to talk about. Not a lot to talk about. So, and just to remind you, Tommy, the show is back on Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Normally, as you know, we were on Saturdays. We are back to Sunday because if you didn't know this, now you know. I've been out of work for the past couple months. I have gotten a job. I'm back to work now, and I work on Saturdays. So the Saturday show has moved back to Sundays at 11 a.m. So just to let you know. Last thing to talk about, defensive back of the Indianapolis Colts, Kenny Moore, has requested a trade. So another big defensive player requesting a trade to leave their team. So Kenny Moore is requested a trade. The Colts accepted, and so they're going to be moving on from Kenny Moore as soon as they find a trade partner. So I feel that I may be out of work all this week. So going back, so I'm kind of bedridden right now. I know that feeling, dude, firsthand. Back issues suck. I've been dealing with them for 7 years now, 8 years. It's terrible. Don't get surgery. I'm telling you that right now. Do not get surgery. We're going to take a little 30-second break here on the Huddle Podcast. We'll be right back, and we'll start getting into the UFL after this. All right, so make sure you head over to the Huddle Podcast over on social media after the show, over on X, TikTok, Instagram, and on Epic Studios at the Huddle Pod. You're going to hit that follow button. Over on the YouTube, you're going to hit that subscribe button and follow over on the Twitch channel. All of our social media bios are in the Twitch bio. You can click on the link that you'd like to go to, because I know not everybody uses social media, all social media platforms to help us build the Huddle Podcast through the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond. See, now that wasn't as long-winded as the opening. It literally took me and literally took me almost 60 seconds to do the first one, okay? That only took me 15 seconds. I hold myself to a certain standard here, okay? It's not my fault. I got to fix that. Ugh. Fixing things on the fly. We are in week 3 of the UFL season. Okay, UFL season moving fast. And on Friday night, the Orlando Storm moved to 3-0, defeating the Louisville Kings 29-27. Now, some of the quarterback statistics. Jack Plummer of the Orlando Storm went 21 of 34, 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. While Jason Bean over for the Louisville Kings, 23 of 46, 352 yards, 3 touchdowns. The quarterback, when you look at the quarterback production in the UFL, it's insane. Like, these quarterbacks are my gosh, man. I mean, the Orlando Storm moving to 3-0. The Louisville Kings 0-3 this season. 29-27 was the final. If you have not watched a UFL game this season, I watch one. Watch one. Okay? I'm telling you, watch one. You will not be disappointed. Now, some people say, oh, the UFL, it's not football, blah, blah. It's football. It's spring football, okay? And the UFL, I feel like in the next year or two is going to be one of the biggest spring football leagues, if not the biggest spring football league, because there are a couple of spring football leagues out there. I mean, they're televised and everything, so yeah, they're the biggest, but it's still the point. They are going to get bigger. And the UFL is a very exciting league to watch. It is. So if you have not had the chance to watch a UFL game, go watch one. And I'll tell you where you can watch today's games in just a moment. Let's go over the Houston Gamblers, DC Defenders. DC Defenders last night defeating the Houston Gamblers 45-7 as far as quarterback statistics. Talia Tagovailoa, the brother of Tua Tagovailoa, he went 21 of 40, 171 yards, a touchdown and interception, while Jordan Ta'amu over for the DC Defenders went 15 of 27, 173 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So, I mean, the DC Defenders rocking the Gamblers last night to move to 2-1. The Gamblers are 1-2. 1-2. Okay. As far as the games for today, we got the Columbus Aviators heading out to Dallas to take on the Renegades. Give me a second here. Got to get to my screen here. We got the Columbus Aviators heading out to take on the Dallas Renegades today at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on ABC. And then at 3 p.m., the Birmingham Stallions head out to St. Louis to take on the Battlehawks. And you could stick around right there on ABC because that game is also going to be on ABC. So that is where you can check out all the UFL action today over on ABC starting at noontime today. And me and John will preview week 4 of the UFL and recap week 3 of the UFL, the rest of week 3 of the UFL on Tuesday night starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brand new start time for the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Podcast. Okay, so... but that's all I got for you today. Oh, the UFL Pick Challenge. UFL Pick Challenge updated after last night. I am 6-4. John is 7-3. We have 2 more games this week. I believe the only game difference we have is the Stallions and Battlehawks. I took the Stallions today. John took the Battlehawks. So, yeah, I could end up tying or John can end up on a +2 going into week 4. So, but that's all I got for you guys, man. Oh, my gosh. Short show today. Not very long. Not very long. So just to talk about something really quick. I'll change this because this is moving awfully slow. So just talk about this really quick. We do have the NFL draft coming up on April 23rd. Okay. And that means it is mock draft time. Yes, we are coming up on mock draft time, and I'm going to be starting to do my official mock drafts this week. I will probably end up doing my official mock draft, my first one, probably tomorrow, and most likely going to be posting that video on Tuesday. So, official mock draft starting this week to get you guys ready for the draft next in 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm going to be doing 2 versions of my mock draft. Okay. My first mock draft is going to include 0 trades. We are just going to do a straight down 32 team pick. That is it. My second mock draft is going to include trades. That is how I'm going to be doing my mock drafts. Okay? So I will announce when my mock drafts will be going up. Again, probably Tuesday afternoon, the first video will go up, if not Wednesday. When I plan on doing my mock draft again tomorrow. That's the plan. If not, I will be doing it Tuesday. Okay? But with that being said, that is it. That's all we have for you guys today. Again, one more time, make sure you head over to the Huddle Hub Podcast over on social media, over on X, TikTok, Instagram, and Epic Studios at the Huddle Hub Pod. Over on YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod, you're going to hit the follow button. You're going to hit subscribe on the YouTube and hit the follow button on the X, TikTok, Epic, and Instagram. Let me start this over, okay? Because I feel like I'm messing up. Head over to the Huddle Hub Podcast over on X, TikTok, Instagram, and Epic Studios at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit the follow button. Over on the YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod, you're going to hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button on the Twitch channel. All of our social media links are in the Twitch bio. You can click on the one that you desire to go to because I know not everybody uses every social media. Hit that follow button, or if it's on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast through the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond. Okay? Also, you can follow me on Instagram, X, YouTube, and TikTok at MetalMike714. I got to get the YouTube content going. I know it's been like 2 weeks now since I said, I'm going to get it going. I haven't worked on it yet. Okay, I've been a pretty busy person in a sense. So I have 4 days off. Today is going to be my day to kind of chill out and relax and recharge. And then tomorrow, I'm going to probably be working on some YouTube stuff. So, yeah. But with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Why? Because it's Sunday and not much to talk about. And that's all we got. So be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Until Tuesday night, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Huddle Podcast. Deuces.